Hello and welcome to Telling Tales. Here we tell atmospheric stories together through the medium of tabletop role playing. Because you've caught us on a Monday night, you're watching us play Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. This is the second arc in an anthology series that I am playing the keeper for. I'm keeping or keepering. The first arc, Darkwood, is available in full on YouTube or indeed in our Twitch VODs. And this second arc is named Fingask, and it's the 6th episode this evening, and very excited we are to get on with it too. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our stream manager, John. Hi, John.
Hi, Jonny.
Are you well?
I am well. Are
Good.
you well?
I'm well. I'm
You're
flashing.
flashing.
Not in a naked way.
Get demonetized for that.
Yeah, John would kick me off screen if scream off screen. This is going well. John would kick me off screen if I were flashing in a naked way. Don't panic. John will be moving cameras on and off screen if people are flashing, and displaying images on screen, most of which he has also drawn.
And none of which are naughty.
None of which are naughty. And all the worse for it. No. And giving us any rules clarifications in the chat, and also at the end, if you have any questions or comments that you put in the chat, John will display those on screen for us to go through as well. Very kind too, John. Thank you. See you in a bit. So below the video, there are links to our YouTube if you're watching this on Twitch, or our Twitch if you're watching this on YouTube, our Discord, which you can join for free and come and chat to us about tabletop role-playing things and other things, social media, so Twitter and Instagram, and our Patreon. So if you do enjoy this show, or indeed any of our others, then you can feel free to sign up to that. And for those who don't know, it's like a subscription service where you receive things from us for money. So there are a number of tiers. So you can join different parts of our Discord where you get behind the scenes info and information ahead of time, things like that, all the way up to Matt, who runs the other two weekly shows on the channel. We'll run a monthly game for you and your friends, and having been part of many of Matt's games, I can highly recommend it. So speaking of Matt and the other shows on the channel, we have Tuesdays and Wednesdays every week shows on the channel. So on a Tuesday, at the moment, we're running Blades in the Dark. On a Wednesday, we're running Coriolis. The standard shows for those are Vampire and Simba Room, respectively. You can catch up with those on our YouTube if you haven't watched any of them, and I believe that they'll be returning at some point. But Blades in the Dark and Coriolis going well. So there's only a couple of episodes of each of those if you want to get caught up on those as well. And on the first Saturday of every month, we have a different one-shot run, and including different people and doing different games. So we've had Alien, Troika, Morkborg, Fiasco, and The Expanse so far. The next one, which is next Saturday, the 3rd of July, not the coming Saturday, 3rd of July, I am running Honey Heist, which is like Ocean's 11, but with bears. Other heist movies are available. And finally, on the Free League Twitch, we have a bi-weekly guest spot running Simba Room. So Matt's running that, a story called Fetters of Stone. And I think yesterday was a non-week, so the next one will be the 4th of July, the day after the Honey Heist one-shot. So that's over on the Free League Twitch, which is very exciting for us to be included on there. So please do come say hi on there on the 4th of July if you get a chance. And yes, now into the story. So this is the 6th episode, so a lot has happened already, very much of which was in the the last episode where everybody got even more weirded out than normal, I think. So I think if we can bring Sam on, who plays Albert. Hi, Sam.
Hello.
Tell us about the beginning of last session.
Everything did get very, very weird indeed. So it was already, the end of the previous session was already rather weird. So we were kind of following the voice that we heard, I think at the end of the very first session, we heard again downstairs from the same place. We were actually in the hallway basically looking for Sir John and the strange insecty voice, sorry, not lizard. And the kind of conversation had erupted endly, and we didn't really have any luck with that. And we were all suddenly startled to hear a gunshot come from the direction of the dining room. Yes.
Yeah.
So we dashed through the kind of room in between, sitting room place in between, and upon arriving, saw a dead lion in the doorway. Which rather shocked all of us, as you can imagine, because lions, in case you don't know, aren't native to Scotland. And yeah, we didn't really know what to do. I also spotted that Mary... What's
Brown.
Brown. Mary Brown had... What sort of gun was it? Was it just a pistol?
Just a small... similar to what Inga has, I believe.
Okay, cool. A handgun pointed directly at where the lion was and smoking. So she had shot it, much, I guess, to everyone's relief. I went to go look at the lion. It was dead. She shot it dead. There wasn't really anything. I mean, we didn't really have any clue what was going on, to be honest. Sir John then showed up from outside. No idea how he got outside. Again, I think he's done that a few times now. Walking in and looking rather shocked at the lion. I believe, actually, that... I think this probably leads on to the next person's explanation, but I think I also ended up taking a shot right past Sir John in shock at the thing that the next person will explain.
Yes, that's correct. So... Following Sir John's re-entry into the house, the group heard the sound of circus music. So I think if Inga can come on, who plays Eliza. Hi, Inga. Give us a little bit of info about what happened next.
Oh, boy. So there was some creepy circus music I think it's just Edmund and Samuel who are out at this point, and they see like the classic ringmaster standing on a horse kind of proceeding up towards the house. Edmund comes back and tells Samuel and Eliza about what's going on, and there's a lion and there's a circus and stuff. So we kind of come out and have a look to see what's happening. The ringmaster kind of comes up to the house, and when he jumps off the horse to come and like speak to us, it sort of takes like a fraction of a second too long, which is a bit like weird and unnerving. Not like sanity loss unnerving, but definitely a bit odd. Eliza tries to kind of demand a bit of an explanation from him about what the hell is going on, but he kind of dismisses her and sort of shuts her down pretty quickly and insists that he's speaking to Sir John. And he announces himself as Bertram Mills, and says that his circus is to come and stay here on Sir John's land, and that there'll be a performance this evening. So John doesn't seem too happy about this at first. He seems a bit tense, but the ringmaster invokes the name of Mr. George Smith and says that he's sort of okayed this whole arrangement and that they'll kind of round up the villagers for the performance this evening. So John kind of shakes at this and then just sort of turns away and like walks back into the house, which is also a little bit odd. But so as this is kind of happening and that all sort of wraps up and ends, Albert takes a shot at the horse that the ringmaster is leaving on. He misses, but like no one on the circus bats an eyelid. Like no one flinches, which is also very strange. Albert kind of goes to keep an eye on like where the circus is going, that they're heading back towards the hill fort to kind of set up camp. And Eliza kind of follows him, and eventually they kind of go down to see Willie and bring him back to the house and get him a stiff drink, very well deserved. And I think just during this time, Edmund and Samuel kind of see Sir John as he comes back into the house, and Samuel tries to kind of tell him that the circus shouldn't be allowed to stay as well, and he sort of threatens to leave if we don't hear about what this big discovery is soon, because he doesn't want to be around for all of this madness. And so John reassures him that George Smith will be here soon and they'll be able to do the big announcement. And then I believe they go to see Agnes.
Yeah. So if Steve can come on, who plays Edmund. Hi, Steve.
Hi there.
Tell us about your discussion with Agnes over at the residence.
Yeah, so we head over to see Agnes, and so Thomas is still in bed, sort of sleeping fitfully, and his condition hasn't been improved by the arrival of the circus. But yes, Edmund was wanting to learn more about this George Smith fellow, so asked Agnes a few questions. It turns out that we kind of knew this, that Sir John had worked with John Rowlett for quite a while, but apparently had incurred some debts with this Mr. Rowlett. And at some point, although they remained friends, at some point John Rowlett introduced Sir John to George Smith, who, as we know, knows this Bertram Mills and the proprietor of the circus. So this George Smith is a bit of a mystery. So no staff have met him. He's not been to the castle, and nobody knows what he does for a living. So his arrival at the castle could well be, it's the first time he's been here. Apparently, it might be an interesting event. Who can say? Edwin did ask about the other staff who'd been let go as a result of Sir John having some money troubles, with the vague notion that perhaps these people who had been let go had not been seen again. But apparently they have, so it's fine. They've not just all disappeared. And one of them was this chap called Ian Tanner, who did the announcements on the first night that we were all present. So basically, after that, Edmund suggested to Agnes that perhaps she would want to. It might be safer for her to get away from the castle for the time being, and maybe care for Thomas in the village, and to that end agreed to talk to Albert about procuring the use of his carriage later on.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so I think if Matt can come on, who plays Samuel. Hey, Matt.
Hi, Jonny.
So a decision was made that you were going to kind of wander down and see what was going on, basically, as the circus was being set up on the grounds.
Yeah, so I think Albert and others were quite kind of ready to go all guns blazing, potentially down the hill, and I think Samuel decided to head on down first, see what he could find out before we make any further calls. So he headed down towards where the circus was being set up, and as he headed down, he could see kind of gymnasts and jugglers and people kind of warming up and preparing, and a few bears in cages, I think there were. He stops to speak to one of the gymnasts, who kind of just mentions that they are always traveling around and that this place was a little bit unusual as a stop for them because it was quite small, but didn't really give a lot else other than that, and suggested that he head to the big top to look for the boss. As he arrived at the big top, as Samuel arrived at the big top, he spotted a hare that kind of froze at him, stared at him, despite everything, all the chaos that was going on setting up the circus. At the same time, there's a loud noise from the guy setting up the big top, and Samuel cuts away from the hare for a moment to have a look at that, looks back, and the hare is gone. The group are kind of watching Samuel from a vantage point and notice that he's a little bit shocked. There are shells loaded into shotguns and things like that from the group, but Samuel kind of indicates that he's okay. He's a little bit unnerved, but he's okay and can continue. There's also this kind of low-level circus music playing in the background while he's wandering around, and he can't really place where it's coming from, but assumes someone is playing it somewhere, but just can't place it. The ringleader spots him right away and kind of calls him by name, which certainly takes him by surprise. given that he's not met him before and doesn't know why he would know his name. Samuel's kind of trying to, I guess, reset a little bit with him in an effort to get more information. So he kind of apologizes for the earlier behavior and, asks if they can draw a line under it. He's kind of discussing with the ringmaster about if there's any other reason why he's been sent here or anything else he can tell them. Really, they don't get a lot other than they're here for the show. He hopes that will arrive and that all the guests will join, and that George Smith was very keen for everybody to meet and to be together. And that's really all he's able to ascertain. And he's certainly unnerved by the fact he knew his name. After he leaves this kind of circus master, he looks around a little bit for the music, but again, he can't place it. He can't seem to triangulate on it at all. So he decides to kind of head back to the group. So he relays this kind of information to the group, and there's a bit of discussion about, everyone's wondering why they're here, what is going on with the circus, and in particular whether Sir John really is in charge of what is happening, or whether he's, it's possibly orchestrated by this George Smith or someone otherwise. And then Samuel heads back up to the castle, and on his way up, he notices on the ground a magnifying glass that certainly wasn't there before. It looks like it's just appeared in the grass. It can't have fallen out a window or anything. And as he inspects this, he notices a pattern around the outside of the magnifying glass that looks like some constellations.
Specifically, what's drawn on the wall in the hill fort.
Yeah.
And what those who know what Edmund saw is also what Edmund saw. I can't remember if Samuel knows that Edmund saw that. I don't think he does.
He's seen the art, but whether he's going to pick up on it being the same, I'm not sure. But
okay.
But yeah.
So we'll pick straight back up with Samuel there, I think.
Okay. How far away are the rest of the group from Samuel as he picks this up?
Not too far. Probably Edmund and Eliza. Definitely not far.
Okay. So
Albert a little further.
Okay. So Samuel's he's going to kind of inspect this, and I think if it looks like constellations, and he's got enough knowledge to recognize it, even if he doesn't know it's the same. He knows what it's trying to represent. I think he will bring the magnifying glass over to the group and say, "Look, this was just lying out here. Does this resemble the other constellations we've seen?" And perhaps hand it to Edmund.
I think Edmund should have a sanity roll if he's looking at this.
Okay, we might have to retcon things slightly because so Edmund and Eliza were heading off to the to look in the hill fort, I think, weren't we?
You may have been.
Well, yeah, I beg your pardon. I thought you were closer at that point.
Well, but I realised that I don't think I didn't have a torch with me, so I'd got a pistol from Albert. But it might well be that we'd taken a few steps and then realised, oh, hang on,
Eliza's got a torch.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then
so you don't pass that to Edmund.
That's fine then. In that case,
Albert would probably be about, because I think.
Albert also had another plan at the end of the last session. He was staying by the circus. He was intending to stay and have a conversation with Willie, but his intention is to stay.
Okay. I think Samuel will head towards the fort in the knowledge that that's where Edmund and Eliza are going, even if he's a bit behind. Yeah. Seems like the natural place to take this anyway.
Okay, fine. So Albert and Willie are just staying in their vantage point position.
I wanted to give Willie some specific instructions. So.
Okay. So while Samuel is heading over to the hill fort, let's go to Albert and Willie.
Mm-hmm. It'll only be brief. Albert's, I think he told the group at the end of the last session he wanted to stay to just keep an eye on things. And while he's standing there with his still loaded shotgun, he kind of gets out a cigar to light, maybe offers one to Willie as well.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I nod and light his as well. And then with a cigar in my mouth, kind of say, I think I'd like to stay and keep an eye on things, see what they're up to.
Of course, sir. We can stay as long as you like.
Well, perhaps you should go get the carriage. Some important folks need to get out of here. The sick man, that nice girl, should probably take them down to the village, away from all this madness. I'll be all right.
You can see he's sort of torn between doing what you've asked him to do and not wanting to leave you on your own in your current state as much as anything else.
Yeah, fair. It's a mixture, both in my current state and also this is actually, I'm genuinely a bit scared.
Yeah. And then he sort of goes, very good, sir. I'll be as quick as I can.
Yeah, I nod. What time was the circus due? Because they did invite us, correct? For a time.
Basically the festivities begin around 5:30, and the actual sort of big top show is at 6:30.
Okay. And what time would it be now? Ish.
About 4.
Okay, cool. So I will say to Willie, I'll still be here when you get back. I don't suppose you'll be too long.
No, sir, it's not far to the village, so...
Offer it to anyone else who wants to.
Yes, of course. He heads off down the path.
I take a lingering look at Willie, and then sit myself down on the grass and keep an eye on... one hand on my gun and one hand on my cigar. Keep an eye on what's going on.
Okay. So Edmund and Eliza arrive at the hill fort before Samuel.
So what's the plan? Did you have anything you were wanting to investigate? What are your suspicions?
Really, I have none. No specific suspicions as such, but there's something funny about this. There's something funny about that, pointing at the circus. There's something, and we must be missing something here. We just need to find it.
Yes. Yes, well, I guess let's go inside then.
Right.
I'll ready the pistol that I borrowed from Albert. Can we hear anything? Is there?
There are no sounds coming from inside. At a quick sort of scope out, there's a reasonable amount of noise coming from the direction of the circus in terms of preparation and stuff. So
yeah.
If there were any small noises, you wouldn't necessarily pick them up very easily.
Well, hopefully all that sound will have frightened away any more wild animals. Fingers crossed.
Yes, although even those seem somehow connected. As much as I don't really want to see another big cat like that, I also don't really want to lose the evidence, as it were.
No.
Anyway, get the torch on. Shall we go in?
I guess yes. Let's see what there is, and start creeping in.
Okay, presumably since you've got one light source, you're sticking together through there. Are you sort of working your way around the edges, or?
That seems sensible. Yeah.
Okay. So you are working your way around the edges. You get to the area with the wall art, and you hear the sound of a stone sort of rattle across the floor at the entrance to the hill fort.
Was that?
Around quickly.
This is the point that Samuel enters.
Roll for sanity.
Mr. Carter, Miss Smith, are you inside?
You gave us such a fright. Yes, it's us.
I'm so sorry, but this couldn't wait. And
What
I guess
is it?
Samuel will kind of run
You
over
all right?
to the light.
Yeah, shining.
Where was the artwork?
We're right
Can we
here.
find
Just
it?
follow the light.
Okay, and then he's kind of looking at the artwork and down at what he's holding, and then he'll just hand it to Edmund and say, "What do you make of this?"
Okay, I'll look at it.
Yeah, I think a sanity roll, please. That one from 5 minutes ago. If we can have
Yeah.
that again, please.
Never escaping. 9, which is under 61. So
Yes, very much so.
can you
Good.
tick sanity?
Great. So yes, you see the kind of drawings around the outside of this.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's quite a nice sort of metal handle, and then circular piece with these sort of kind of elongated star shapes around the edge, and then some glass in the middle, mildly tinted. You think as you kind of look at it, if you're looking at it under the light, you think there's a mild tint to the glass. It's not a completely clear glass.
Okay. And okay. Wow.
What's
Well, I
the
get-
significance here? What is this, Sam, Mr. Thomas?
This was lying between ourselves and the castle as I approached, and I just again, I wasn't sure, but I thought it bore some resemblance to this. I thought I should show you immediately. I don't know where it could have come from. Someone must have left it there. It couldn't have fallen from the windows. Someone's dropped it or placed it there by mistake or deliberately. I have no idea.
I'll be turning the thing over and sort of looking at the constellations. Could you shine the light on the wall again, please? And I'll sort of compare the designs on it. So they do match. There are. Wow. Okay.
Can you look a little closer at the markings on the wall through the glass? These appear to match.
I can try, I guess. Before I do that, how old does this magnifying glass look? Does it look sort of antique, or is it what?
It looks. Have you got a praiser skill, isn't it?
Oh,
Let's do an appraise roll.
Well, this would have to be a good one.
Is it
yes,
5?
It is 5.
You got the
yes. I do not make appraise.
Okay. I'm happy also for Samuel or Eliza to make that as they're looking at it. If you're asking the question
Yes.
out loud about how old you think it might be.
Nope, 43 over that 5.
68. Sorry.
Okay. Do you think you've got a feeling that it's sort of looks very old, but not aged? Almost like it belongs to a different time, but it's not aged from then to now, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were looking at a replica of something from, say, 300 years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
You know that it's an old item, but it hasn't aged in that sense.
Okay. It must be some sort of souvenir, some sort of this.
All I could think of was it was some detritus from this mad circus, but it doesn't explain why it would then match this.
I mean, if there are local stories of
Sorry, if no one's going to actually take a look at the light, we'll say, "Do you mind if I?"
Certainly.
I'll have a peer.
Okay, suddenly, as far as you are concerned, you are floating through the cosmos, and you can see the stars in these constellations in front of you as you soar through the cold vacuum of space. You see stars being born and dying around you as you pass through what seems like an eternity. And then you're stood back in the hill fort. And I think a sanity roll, please, for Eliza.
Spare. That is a 100.
Oh,
Okay. That is a loss of 4 sanity for Eliza, please.
Ouch.
I think that might mean that you've lost an amount. Oh no, it's a 5th or more in one day. You probably haven't lost that, have you?
I lost 1 earlier today, which would have been so it's 5 total, and I was on 49. So yeah, no, yeah, so not quite.
No, not quite. Okay.
But heading in that direction.
Yeah, so you basically feel as if you've come back to the ground with sort of a jolt. As far as everybody else is concerned, it's been about half a second.
Everything okay?
You feel physically cold as well.
I don't have the words. I can't even conceive of what I just saw. You're an astronomer, Mr. Carter.
Yes, I've studied. What?
Stars and the sky, space.
Samuel's going to take the magnifying glass off Eliza as she seems so shocked.
I think perhaps we should get you back to the castle.
How was I gone? How long?
You just froze. What did you see? Did you what? You were just stood there. You didn't move. You just froze for half a second.
Did you see something through it? On the wall?
Thomas saw what I saw. Thomas saw what I saw. The stars. I wasn't here. I don't know where I was. Stars were. They were being born. I don't understand. I don't know what the words are for what I saw. I don't. But I think I went somewhere. I think this is what happened to Thomas. I
think we should leave. Let's head back
let's...
inside. Samuel's going to kind of look at the magnifying glass, concerned, but not. He's not going to look through it.
Don't leave that here.
No, we'll bring it with us.
I think as we start heading out, Eliza will just be glancing back at that wall art.
I should probably tell you both, on the first night I was here, I did have a brief vision of the constellations in the sky looking different, but no more than a flash, and certainly no no visions of stars being born. Just a glimpse of a different sky. That's all.
What do you mean by vision? Like while you were asleep?
No, just I was Albert and I were talking to Sir John outside the castle, and I saw the stars behind him in the sky, and just for a split second they looked different. They were in a different pattern, but no more than that.
I didn't see anything like that night, but it's got to be connected.
You might not remember. Did you see what we saw in there and on this? Was it the same?
Who are you asking? Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Edmund in this case.
The patterns, the constellations were the same, but there was no motion. It was just a static field of stars that were not our own. But yes, Thomas did. He's still not lucid, unfortunately. His fitful rambling about stars does. It all ties to this fort somehow, but I can't explain what I saw or why I saw it.
It doesn't make sense. This doesn't bring clarity. This doesn't make sense.
Mr. Thomas, do you have any practical experience of group hallucinations? I don't.
No, I'm thinking if they're feeding us something, or if I'm seeing things I'm finding difficult to explain as well. To be frank,
I don't understand this. How can this be hallucination? This is nothing like what I'm familiar with. You two might hallucinate stars and things, but I don't understand this anywhere near enough to imagine or dream this.
Well, my only experience of this would be, again, where someone has consumed something and it usually takes some time to come on, and when it does, it stays with you for a number of hours and then it goes, whereas what you two are describing is very different, right? You're lucid and then there's something and then you're lucid again.
So far. That wasn't the same for Thomas, though. Goodness knows what happened to him.
Oh, goodness knows what would have happened to you, Miss Smith, if you looked through that any longer than you did.
I'm not even sure why I stopped or came back or whatever when I did. I can't say I felt terribly in control of the whole situation. I just really in shock. Like I say, I just can't fathom what any of that was. I just, one moment I was there and it seemed almost like an eternity, and then the next I was back. I'm utterly lost.
I've got to ask, have either of you ever experienced anything like this before?
No. Absolutely not.
Not once, not when under duress or under stress or...
No.
I have not the faintest idea.
Perhaps we should find Albert.
Yeah. Yes. He'll be with Willie, surely.
You can, if you're going to Albert, obviously Samuel knows where he last was. You probably could look up and see him if he's not attempting to be massively hidden. When you sort of out of the hill fort.
Okay, so we'll take a look. Samuel's going to pop the magnifying glass sort of in his inner pocket of his coat, and just say to the pair, "I think I can see him over there. Let's go find them."
Do we confront Sir John about this? Is there any possibility that he'd say anything useful?
he must know something of this. This discovery he's talking about. Is it this? Is this? Have we just stumbled across this before he was ready to show us? This, I mean, if this wasn't his discovery, then, well, there's two rather big discoveries going on here somewhere. That was
Indeed.
something else.
I am concerned about the position that this puts us in if we're not supposed to have seen this.
Well, I think our position is somewhat problematic to start with. But yes, it would certainly, there is the risk of exacerbating the situation further.
Do you believe the danger is that we've seen this, or is the danger in letting Sir John know that we've seen this?
With the way, and I'll look around just to check who's about at this point. No sign of Sir John or anybody, any staff nearby?
As far as you're aware, Sir John and the rest of the guests are still in the house, in the castle. And no staff around that you can see. The nearest people that you can see are the circus performers or staff, and they're sort of 50 to 100 feet away.
So yes, we heard Sir John's voice discussing, well, presumably designs for Thomas. He was surprised to see Thomas again. That would explain his reaction in the woods. So
Something
yes.
about him being taken or given.
Yes.
If that's where Thomas was, though, and I've now just been there.
But there's no.
You
didn't leave. You didn't disappear. You were stood right in front of us. There was no visible change from my point of view.
Well, the instrument we had was something to look through. Maybe that's all I did. I just looked through. I didn't actually go there, and Thomas did something different and actually went, or maybe Thomas didn't do anything different at all. It was Sir John. Sir John said something about giving him or sacrificing him or something. I don't know.
We need to find where Sir John went. We heard him, but we didn't see where he went. And whether this, I mean, the fact that we heard those, Mr. Thomas, this will go back to the first night. We heard sounds. We heard sounds of Sir John talking. We heard sounds of a wheel being turned. I don't think we should have heard those in our rooms. That seemed strange to me at the time. Again, I realize you said you didn't hear them then.
But we all did.
No, I heard it. Yeah, I did.
Well, I'm not sure whether I'm relieved or annoyed.
I think there are greater things to worry about or be annoyed about at this point.
I can't believe just moments ago how angry I was at that awful ringmaster, and now the circus seems like the least of our issues.
Anyway, perhaps Albert can throw some more light on this. I don't know.
Yes. Oh, Mr. Thomas, you've not even told us what the ringmaster said. Did you speak? You spoke to him?
Yes. Really very little to add. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to gain much information, other than they've been encouraged here by a third party. I think we know that Sir John is perhaps an address to a certain extent here, but nothing much I could ascertain.
Right. Back to the house, to Mr. Moore. What next?
Let's bring Albert up to speed.
Don't like the idea of him being left alone out here.
Okay, so to get to where Albert is, you can either basically wander through where the circus is and up that side of the bank, or essentially go back to the castle and then loop around the top. Those are your two fastest ways. So it's up to you whether you want to cut through what is now the circus ground or not.
Not really.
Side quest A or side quest B?
I think if Samuel was kind of leading the pack a little bit, he probably is going to head in that direction, unless one of you two kind of stops him, because he's already been there. He's perhaps less nervous about cutting through there again. But
Okay.
But yeah, just but equally, if anyone
I think
suggests another way,
they're happy about it, but not enough to object.
I will follow you. Yeah.
Yeah, follow along. But you're definitely up front and leading the way.
So you walk through the clatter of people sort of still setting things up. You have to sort of quickly dodge out of the way a couple of times as people are carrying like rows of benches from a cart into the big top doorway. And you don't see the ringmaster, and you pass out of the other side of the circus ground without any issue.
As you do that, you see Albert stand and raise his shotgun slightly again. Watch you pass through the whole of the. So he's not like pointing at you; he's just kind of watching closely.
Yeah, you head up the track and are now along the raised area, heading along the path towards Albert.
While the time they were away, I imagine a bit of time has passed. Did I see anything odd about them setting up? I assume nothing remarkable.
No, the only thing, if you were looking out for the ringmaster, you haven't seen him at all.
Okay.
Is the only thing that is potentially of note to you. Everything else is what you would expect a circus setup to look like, really.
It's weird that he wasn't wandering around helping them set up or instructing things. In fact, he's entirely gone. Okay, I get your point.
The last thing that you saw was him going into the big top after he'd spoken to Samuel last session. Yep, and you meet up with Albert.
What you doing going through there again, eh?
wait. Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize that was probably not the best idea. We just wanted to come and find you. Miss Smith has experienced something very strange, and we want to just find what is happening here. Have you seen anything?
Albert kind of looks at Miss Smith as you finish saying that and go, "Hi, you do look. You okay?"
Now. Yes.
Anyway, no, nothing of note. Didn't see the ringmaster at any point. Kind of odd. Thought he would be helping set up. Nothing else unusual. Out of cigars, damn it. There's like 3 spent cigar ends on the ground below me.
I have something in here, and Samuel will kind of gesture at his coat pocket.
Albert thinks it might be a cigar for a moment, and his face lights up.
I'm afraid it's not that. But whatever it is, I think is linked to Thomas. It's dangerous. We're not quite sure what to do next.
Albert will take it from you if you got it out and just have a look at it, and then presumably notice the constellation on the side and look at Mr. Carter.
Just don't look through it.
Those match the.
I think Albert's the sort of sort that he doesn't pick it up and look through it like that, but he does kind of turn it and just kind of glance cautiously out the corner of his eye to see if anything looks strange through it, trying not to look too hard.
Wow.
Presumably you would accidentally look through it all the time while examining it, though, so if you see what I mean.
Oh, you're on mute.
Jonny.
Apart from the slight sort of colour tint You don't see anything
Yeah,
strange through it.
Okay, that's good.
So Eliza, after saying that, don't look through it. Eliza maybe sort of, well, maybe it's different here. Maybe it doesn't. She's gonna grab it and take it.
Oh no!
I was going to say, Albert was going to lift it up as you were saying that and look through it properly, given the suggestion. So potentially both Albert and Eliza look through each end of it or something. I don't know.
I was just about to dive in as well.
Nothing untoward.
Okay, as expected.
I think
So
it's just in the fort.
What happened in the fort with it then?
I truly don't know how to properly explain what happened, but I looked at the stars on the wall through this. They seem to be a pair. They match, and they definitely are a pair. I think I saw the things that Thomas saw, that he was raving about the stars and things.
But you didn't disappear for 2 weeks like you did.
No, I was a little fearful actually as soon as I came back to my senses. But apparently no, it was just a moment. But it certainly didn't feel like I was just here looking at a wall. It felt like I was somewhere else. I couldn't make much sense of it.
As you're kind of saying this, Albert looks at it. Then maybe looks around to see if there's any stones on the floor or anything, and then maybe just places it on the stone, but doesn't make any fast movement. That says we could destroy it now, whatever it is. Could have killed the boy. Could have killed you. Who knows?
I don't think this is the thing that transported. I think this is something to see that place with. Because all I did was see it. I didn't go there. I didn't go missing. I think this is a magnifying glass. This might sound ridiculous, but I must have been looking at something very small. It didn't seem very small as I was looking at it, but I was focusing in on something.
I think Eliza has persuaded Albert not to smash it, and he just picks it back up again.
I'm just not sure we understand it well enough yet. It might help us understand things if we need to see that place again.
It is also evidence if we need to. Well, not that I believe the police are likely to.
No.
I think Albert will hand it. Albert will hand it back to Mr. Thomas.
And Samuel will put it back in his sort of inside pocket.
Don't tell anyone we don't trust about it, though.
Well,
Again, my concern is that this was left very clear for me to find. I don't know whether it was deliberate or not, but I'm inclined to keep this to ourselves, but someone may well know that we have this.
Someone may have wanted us to have it from the sound of it. All the more reason to destroy it in my book. I don't feel like playing these games anymore.
No, we have been led quite a dance.
I think Albert's glancing down at the preparing dancers below us now.
So, what now? We have a number of mysteries that lie open before us.
Indeed.
We haven't seen any other constellations anywhere, have we? I'm just wondering, because Mr. Carter, you said you saw something in the skies.
Yes.
What if we looked through this glass up at the skies at night? Have we seen anything else? I honestly, until just a moment ago, I really had very little interest in the stars and things like that. I mean, when you were looking at this wall art before, I really had very little interest in it. I'm not sure I'd have even noticed if there was anything. There's no other artwork anywhere in the house, perhaps, or Anything like that anybody spotted?
Yes, have we? I guess this is a. Do we recall seeing anything that might have, that now we're thinking about it, that might have looked similar or out of place, or
Nothing to do with stars specifically. No.
No.
Mr. Thomas, might I have another look at that object?
Of course. I'll hand it over.
And I'll kind of glance around at the others. And then I will hold it up to the sky and I will look through it at the sky.
Everything remains exactly the same.
Perhaps at night.
I mean, is it a
Possibly.
night sky now?
It's not far off. Yeah. Although it's also cloudy.
There is one other place. So we know that Sir John disappears within the castle. We don't know where he goes. There is that walled garden that we never saw the interior of.
That's true.
I'm wondering, he must be going somewhere. I don't know how he's getting there, but
Well, again, this might sound completely mad, and perhaps I am completely mad. But if,
I don't think so.
well, maybe rethink that in a moment. But again, if this is for looking at things that are small, and Sir John has been disappearing right by those bloody flowers in that bloody vase, and we've been hearing something buggy. Bugs are small. I don't know. Ought we to take it there and have a look? But also the walled garden, you're absolutely right. We've not been in there yet. So John didn't seem terribly protective of it or precious about it.
No, he said it wasn't lit. I think that was the reason he gave for not. But yes, perhaps back on our way to the castle, we can look there, and then maybe yes, investigate the hall once more.
It's maybe a ridiculous obsession, but there's something funny about that spot.
I think Albert just says Willie went off with the carriage to take Thomas and that lass and anyone else who needed it down to the village. I'll have to wait here until he gets back, but he probably won't be long. Sounds a fair bet, though, that walled garden. He did say not to go there otherwise, didn't he?
Mr. Moore, will the carriage have left already?
I suspect. Probably, yes. It wouldn't have taken him long, I'd imagine. It's been, 20 minutes, half an hour now, Jonny? So it wouldn't...
Yeah, 15 or 20 minutes. But, I mean, he could realistically have got to the residence in probably 5.
So he might be in the village or on
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I imagine he won't be long, but I should wait for him nonetheless.
Part of Samuel's mind was tempted to show Thomas this thing and see how he reacted, but the opportunity has passed, and he's slightly relieved it has.
I think I'll hand back the pistol that I borrowed back to Albert.
I will take the pistol back from you and then kind of glance at other folks, see if they want to take it, and then presumably no one does, holster it back again.
Not sure it'll help against the stars.
Okay. Are you heading back to the castle?
Only if Willie's back, otherwise I'm waiting.
That has maybe been about 20 minutes, so we're nearing 4:30, so we've got probably about an hour until the circus stuff is meant to start kicking off, right? Yeah.
Correct,
So we've still
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We could wait with you, Mr. Moore. Well, I don't mind, at least.
Yes, if you want. Sorry. I don't think it'll be long.
Yeah, after about a minute of you standing there, you see the carriage going past the side of the castle and round the back. So you know that he'll just be a little while.
Is there a route I could walk that I would meet him on the way?
Considering that he walked off sort of around the top, you presume if you walked that way that he would be coming back the same way. So yeah, you could have the distance. Yeah. So yeah, not far from the cottages that the other guests are staying at, you bump into Willie. Oh, yep. Mr. Moore.
No problems, I assume.
No. I dropped them off at. Agnes said that she had a friend, so I left them at the friend's house.
Good. How was the young man?
Much the same, I believe, sir.
Well, I suppose that it's no worse. No one else went, I'm assuming, then.
No, sir. No.
Well, thank you anyway.
Of course. Nothing to report here, sir?
Not from my end. I'll kind of glance at presumably the still pale-looking Eliza. Seen some strange things, these folks. But I probably won't elaborate further. Cool.
Seems there's a lot of that, sir.
We were heading to the walled garden, I believe. Kind of glance at everyone else. I don't think there was any reason to go there other than we were told there's nothing interesting there. Albert chuckles to himself.
It might be worth a look.
It's about the last place to check at this point.
Being told not to go somewhere is often a good reason to go there.
Okay, so you head past the front of the castle. At the same time as you do, Sir John, Thomas Walker, the Duchess, and the Browns are walking down the steps at the front of the castle, and Sir John says, hello everyone. Are you how's the rest of your day faring?
Albert conspicuously doesn't reply and continues striding quickly past.
Anybody looking notices that they're mildly dressed up, like more similar to how they showed up last night than how they've been dressed today. Is anybody stopping? Obviously, Albert's continued on.
I guess I might slow down briefly to greet them. We've had an interesting day so far. I'm sure you can understand with the surprises.
Yes. My sincerest apologies for that.
Are you are you on your way somewhere now, or should we be?
Yes, we're going for a dinner at the pub in the village ahead of this evening's festivities. Obviously, you're welcome to join us if you please. Is it only Edmund that has slowed to talk to them? Of Eliza, Samuel, and Albert carried on?
I think I've slowed, but won't be speaking.
Yeah, similar here, I think.
And Albert's just charged ahead with Willie, because Willie would keep going ahead with you.
Samuel might be kind of keeping pace a little bit, but yeah, just sort of ambling in the middle, but not losing track of Albert.
So Albert and Samuel round the corner of the outside of the walled garden, and Sir John says to Edmund and Eliza, as I say, you're very welcome to join us. Of course, I would have asked you, but I wasn't sure where you were or whether you wanted some time alone away from the bustle. But if you want to, just walk down to the village and meet us at the Curious Hare. And as Albert and Samuel round the corner, there is a hare about 20 yards in front of you, just looking at you.
I shoot it.
Have a shot.
20 yards, that's a nice easy shot. Albert's had enough of this bloody hare. At 65 is my difficulty, and 66 is what I need. I'll tell you what, I'm using luck. I'm using luck.
Okay.
I need to use 1 luck.
So Edmund and Eliza spot that the other two have gone round the corner, and Willie has stopped to tie his lace before rounding the corner.
No.
Everybody hears a gunshot. And Sam, I would like a sanity roll for Albert, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're 100% sure you hit this hare, but it's still just stood there looking at you.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's like... Can I point out this should be a particularly bad sanity roll for to be honest, because this is exactly what Albert, the only thing Albert feels like he can rely on right now.
And Samuel is just presumes that Albert has missed. So there's no sanity issue for you, apart from the weird hair.
And the gunfire.
And the gunfire, yeah. Actually, yes,
Sorry,
you should probably make a sanity roll for the gunshot, I think.
I'm glad you head off ahead with me. Yeah, I failed my sanity roll.
Okay.
Gonna happen a lot.
I think 2 sanity for Albert lost there.
Yeah.
Just past my sanity roll by 1.
Okay.
Albert lowers the gun, like hand shaking, and then like moves to like try and eject the shell, hand still shaking, and just kind of mutters under his breath, "I hit it! I hit it! I hit it!"
You definitely did not hit it.
Willie has come charging around the corner, at which point the hare has hopped off.
I don't.
Sir John also basically sets off running. The rest of the guests do not. They kind of stay where they are.
Everyone else getting used to this now.
What are Edmund and Eliza doing?
Running towards.
I guess I'll have jumped and sort of spun around and looked at all of the commotion and the figures running off, and I'm sorry. I think I should probably attend to Mr. Moore. Please do enjoy your trip to the pub. We might see you later, and then I will head off around the corner as well. Okay.
So as Sir John rounds the corner, just ahead of Edmund, he spots Albert's gun and says, "Mr. Moore, is everything okay? Was there another big cat, or
just?" I said literally through gritted teeth, "Just an animal. Got away."
Anything we need to worry about, or?
There's a very long pause, and then I think Albert says, "No."
By this point, I think Eliza will be around and just staring knowingly, I think, at Albert. Having told him to shoot it last time I saw her.
Sir John says, "Very good then," and kind of straightens down his waistcoat after having run around the corner, and pokes his head back round the corner from of the walled garden and says, "All is well. Let's go eat."
Sir John, just before you disappear,
yes, Mr. Carter.
It's a curious name for an inn. Is there a story there?
Oh yes, just a local folk tale, I believe. One of my gardeners, I think he is a fan of that particular tale. You could ask him about it. He may be inside the walled garden, actually. Yes, I think there's some work he's doing in there with he's got some lanterns. As I said, it's not lit, but yes, I think he may be doing a small amount of work in there before his evening meal.
Well, we might. Yeah, thank you for your invitation. We might join you later. Although, yes, I think perhaps some quiet, perhaps a period of quiet might be appropriate for some of us.
Yes, of course, he says, and kind of glances sideways at Albert. As the rest of the guests kind of come round the corner, and Sir John heads off.
Albert still has the shotgun like cocked over his arm and is like hand shaking, trying to reload the shells, but they're not going in because his hand is shaking too much.
I think, Mr. Moore, I think it might be sensible I don't think you're going to need that.
Willie kind of puts his hand on the gun and looks at Albert.
Albert like.
But did you get it?
Albert hands the shotgun to Willie and the 2 shells he's holding. And then turns around to Eliza and says, "Yes, but no. I hit it. I know I did. The damn thing ran off."
You hear Willie push the 2 shotgun shells in, and
that's fine. I'm happy with that.
Is anybody else around that? I forget that everybody else is gone.
Yeah, they're walking ahead of you now, basically. Out of the ground.
Did you see what I think you saw?
The Hare, yes. Again, staring. Just in front of us. Couldn't have missed it at that distance, and I didn't. The damn thing walked off like nothing happened.
Looking around, do we see it now?
Jonny, did it run off at the moment I shot, or given that I know Willie got up a moment after, there was a delay between my shot and it running off? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'll say there. Most oddly, it didn't run instantly. It stayed exactly where I shot it for a split second, as if the bullet just never existed. And then it ran when you all came around the corner.
Samuel's going to walk towards where the shot should have impacted and just have a look at the ground.
Yes, it's basically all buried in the floor.
Are there any hair tracks?
No.
Albert kind of shouts down, "Is it there? The cartridge?"
Well, there's some shot in the ground.
Well then, at least I know the gun works. Just not on that thing.
Apparently the gardener is in the walled garden. The one who told us about the Hare in the first place. If you have any questions for them.
No good.
Maybe there's more to the story.
So what you're saying is the strange, unsettling gardener is in the walled garden that we shouldn't go in.
Yes.
Albert starts walking towards the walled garden again.
Following.
Okay.
You back to Willie carrying both of the guns.
Yeah. You head around the next side, and the gate is open to the garden. So you see inside for the first time. There is not very much on display currently, but the beds and everything are laid out in rows with a central fountain, circular fountain, and you can imagine that in the height of spring, it would be glorious. There are a few evergreen rows which are still in and actually look very nice on their own, but no kind of big bright colors or anything. And you see some light coming from about halfway down, just past the fountain, and hear a whistle coming from down there.
Is there anything else unusual about the garden? Just roses, the wall around it, nothing, no like alcoves, no, that's odd. Like
Any constellations in the base of the statue?
constellations.
That sort
Or
of,
like a deep dark well that looks like it could go under the house.
No, there's nothing like that there. No. There are sort of little sort of like nymph statuettes and things like that. Your typical sort of Victorian folly garden style stuff, but nothing at a quick glance that stands out at you as being really weird.
I think Eliza will head towards the fountain and take a look, see, if there is water or whether it's iced over, or just kind of see if it's reflecting the sky at all, or just what the fountain looks like.
It's not doing anything at the moment. There's no water in it.
Oh, so it's dry. Okay.
Yeah. You would presume because it's potentially heading into a bitter chill that they've just the risk of cracking the stonework or pipes or what have you.
Okay.
So yeah, you just hear this.
Albert does not much feel like being in conversation, so he doesn't specifically lead off towards the garden. Can we see him now?
You kind of catch little bits of him because he's around tending some evergreens, basically. So he's sort of in and out of the rows, and you catch kind of a lower body and legs poking out, and then so you can see where he is if you want to go.
Just watch it for a while.
I guess I'll sort of wander over and good afternoon. Sorry to trouble you. I just saw that the door was open. I thought I'd have a quick look around. I've not seen in here before.
Oh, good evening. Yes.
Good evening.
Well, you should come back in March or April. You'll have a much nicer view. But yes, it is a lovely little escape in here, isn't it?
Yes, it seems nice and peaceful. I was wondering.
Had any more of an issue with that Hare? Have you?
Funny you should ask. Yes. Could you tell us more about the story? Do you think?
Yes, of course.
I just learnt that the pub is also named the Curious Hare. So yes, you can consider my interest piqued.
Like I say, quite the popular tale around these parts. Worth noting that when he said about having had trouble with the Hare, he seemed pretty light-hearted, not sort of like,
Yes.
Yeah. Not hinting that you should have been. It was almost a little bit of a joke on his part. Hi. Well, there's the rhyme. And from there, I suppose the tales about the tricksy Hare kind of playing tricks on well, I suppose strangers on the road and those with a weak disposition, I suppose. I would obviously, if it were up to me, include you in the former. I wouldn't like to make any judgment on your character, but obviously you are strangers on the road as far as any local animals would be concerned.
Well,
there's
I think Albert's taking a seat nearby, and when he says the strangers on the road or people of weak character, Albert snorts aggressively from the chair,
There's not that much more to it, really, as much as I know. It's just a bit of a sort of a boogeyman figure, I suppose, as well for children. If they're they're misbehaving and there happens to be some kind of bunny or hare around, their mother will say, "Oh, the hare will get you," but it's not. No, I don't think there's much more to it than that, I'm afraid. Just an interest, is it?
Well, yes. It's these are different. This is not been to this area before. It's always interesting to learn of stories, that sort of thing. But yes, to be honest with you, we have since your mentioning of it, we have seen a few hares around. So I can't help but be interested. Do you happen to know where the story originates?
Well, I believe it was in this village. Yes, I think it's an incredibly local folk tale. There may be, Sir John has a reasonably extensive library in the castle. There may be maybe a book of fairy tales, folk tales in there potentially.
Fascinating. And do you happen to know anything about the hill fort?
Oh,
sorry, I haven't. I'm Edmund. I haven't introduced myself.
Jacob. No, I don't know much about the hill fort. I mean, I tend the plants around it and the grass, but other than that, I couldn't tell you anything about its history. I think Sir John knows a little about its history.
I'm sure, yes.
Could be worth asking him.
Well, thank you. That's yes, most entertaining. Perhaps I should leave you be, but thank you for your time.
What happens?
Have a lovely evening.
What happens to the people that the hare gets?
He looks at you a moment and kind of realizes how distressed and out of sorts you look, and says, "Nothing, miss. It's just a folk tale about a tricksy hare. It's nothing."
In the stories, though, what happens?
Well, they end up being made a fool of, I suppose, in most of the stories. There's nothing more than that.
Well, that's all right then, isn't it? I think Eliza will get up and head towards the house.
He kind of looks around the rest of the group as well, sees Albert also looking rather distressed and out of sorts. Yeah, you two especially, and kind of starts to look a little uncomfortable and moves around to the other side of the row of trees that he was working on.
They're not much. They're not really fans of the circus.
No.
Anyway, thank you again. We'll leave you be.
Very good.
I can deal with being made a fool of. This doesn't feel like being made a fool of to me, though.
Once your footsteps get far enough away, you hear the resume.
Anyway, we didn't come here to talk to the man. We came here to see if there was anything linking this place to the house, I suppose.
Yes, I mean, I guess I'll have been looking around whilst we were in there. There were no. It seemed sort of self-contained. Did we see any other doors or?
No, just that sort of main gate at the front, and that's it. Solid walls all around.
Conspicuously old-looking stonework. That's maybe what I could be looking for. I don't know.
A slightly different color of brick. No, no. There's
or maybe in a very old style, but new-looking.
You could spend a decent amount of time looking if you wanted to. If you're having a quick glance, I will tell you that there is nothing that looks untoward as you're walking through.
Okay. I guess as we're walking out, then I will say, I don't see anything to link this place. I don't think this is where he gets out. Whatever he's doing.
So, shall we look in the hall again? Or there's...
Eliza was already walking up towards the house. Slowly, but definitely heading there.
I need some more cigars. Let's go.
I suppose so.
You right carrying those two, Willie?
Absolutely, sir.
Really good idea, I suppose. Albert kind of looks a little ashamed now, even though he's struggling.
So the doors to the castle is open. Not open, but unlocked. So you're just heading in?
Yeah, heading towards that hallway.
Okay. So you go through the dining hall, through the sitting room, and drawing room, and into the hallway.
Do we see anyone at all in the building while we're passing through?
No, you don't pass anybody on your way through.
Okay, that's good. I think I'll kind of say, good, it looks like no one's around. Perhaps we'll be able to have a proper look.
The only other thing Eliza will have looked at as walking through will have been any artwork on the walls, if there was anything depicting the skies at all.
The only painting with a sky in is one of a landscape which looks like it's been painted from somewhere in the castle grounds, or maybe from a window in the castle, looking sort of northwards along the coastline, but it's a daytime painting. So the any other things that are up as sort of there's a couple of like animal wildlifey paintings and a couple of portraits of, might presume, people who have owned the castle. But yeah,
No
nothing else.
or anything.
No.
Cool. Yeah, then just the hallway then.
Okay. The hallway is as it has always been. 2 doors in the hallway, and then on the opposite wall, halfway between them, pretty much, a small table with a vase on, and then the stairs up to the next floor.
Albert dashes up those stairs quickly to his room.
May I have the magnifying glass?
So I'm trying to recall whether Edmund or Samuel has it at this point.
I think probably Samuel.
Samuel, okay.
Yeah.
In that case, he will tentatively take it out his coat and say, "Are you sure about this? Would you like me to take a look?"
Not at all sure, but I think I ought to do it anyway. Just make sure I'm all right. I'll have a look at the flowers and just have a good old nosy around with the...
Okay. Can I get a vague description of where everybody is standing?
Yay. I'm right in front of the flowers.
I guess I'll be, I don't know, a sort of a meter or so away, sort of nearby, just ready to, you know.
When you say right next to the flowers for Eliza, are you
square
back to the opposite wall, sort of looking straight at it with that wall behind the flowers?
No, like gone up to like getting as close as possible with the magnifying glass, like just square in front of the little table thing that it sat on.
So for almost you've walked straight in and you're still facing in that direction that you were facing in. Yeah.
If that's the wall that the flowers are on, then yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say Albert is coming back down the stairs, if that's okay.
Samuel will have taken a step towards Eliza. He's kind of facing her as he's got the magnifying glass out. He's probably 3 or 4 feet in front of her, facing her.
Okay. Looking at the flowers, you see nothing.
I'll probably spend a good few minutes really carefully inspecting before I give up. Nothing. Didn't see anything.
Anybody who is... Are you going to look at this from kind of all angles, sort of working your way around the vase?
Yeah, basically, I want to give it as good an inspection as I can. I mean, obviously, as a magnifying glass, you're then focusing on a much smaller area, so it probably would take a while to, work your way around or whatever. But yeah.
Okay. Anybody who is nearby, can you make me a look roll?
Ooh. Now then,
But not Eliza.
No.
Is that spot hidden?
No, just look.
Oh, luck.
Yeah, so you're yeah, sorry. L-U-C-K.
Is that oh, it's look. Okay, right. Ah.
Yeah, I pass.
Pass here.
I do not pass.
Okay. So Albert and Samuel, at one point when Eliza kind of turns to go around the other side of the flowers, you spot by complete chance through the magnifying glass, sort of a split second, the wall where the two doors are. So, and in the position directly opposite where the vase is, you spot that the wall looks different there through the magnifying glass than it does not through the magnifying glass. It's so quick that you can't tell what or why, but your brain just goes, hang on, whoa, that was different.
I will look up to everyone's faces before I react immediately. Presumably Samuel is also.
So if you kind of start, I will look at you and be like, did you see that? Hold on there, Eliza. Stay there for a second.
I will step in towards Eliza too.
What?
I guess angle myself while Eliza is holding it to the wall. Just kind of look at it.
I can't see anything. What is it?
So Samuel will adjust Eliza kind of where she's holding it to try and be where Albert and I saw it, and then take a step back to where he was and look through.
Yeah.
You can now all see, if you're all looking, a door.
Good Lord.
Like a
Can
regular
you
door.
see that?
Yes.
Sanity roll.
Yes, please.
Does it look like a normal door, John?
It looks exactly like the other doors that are down this hallway.
So funny. Oh, I've got to love a fail. Everything's a fail in sanity.
Oh, I still pass.
96 here, a
Oh.
massive fail.
Oof.
I think one sanity if you failed, and none if you pass, but you are shaken.
I knew it.
God, how is this possible? Looking at Edmund for some reason.
Albert will try just touching the wall because presumably if the
So
magnet
we're
is
watching
staying there,
you
I touch-
through.
Yeah, but I can't see through it while I'm doing it. Presumably.
Then you just feel wall.
Okay. In that case, I kind of go like turn around and go pull it closer, so I can kind of look through it while I'm reaching for it with my hand. Unless I
Yeah, I'll just go right up and do as he says.
Yeah.
I'll try and touch the door. Does it feel like the door now?
Yeah.
Does it only feel like the door where I can see the door, and then if I run my hand out of it, it suddenly feels like wall?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll look for a handle or something.
I will say to the others to try that. Look, the door is only there behind the magnifying glass, even for touch. That makes no sense at all. There is no possible way this could exist.
At this point, Liza doesn't care whether it's possible or not. She's seeing it. She's looking for the door handle, just scanning the.
Yep, it's in the same position as the doorknobs on the other doors on this level.
And
Are you
grabbing
opening?
the doorknob. Is it locked?
It is not.
Yeah.
And
Opening the door.
you see a staircase going down.
A normal staircase?
Can I see the staircase if I pull the magnifying glass away?
You cannot.
Just looks like wall again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to step forward, put magnifying glass back in front of my face and step forward.
Through the door.
Yeah.
And now everything around you is the basement room.
I was going to keep my hand on Eliza's shoulder while she was stepping forward.
Are you looking through the glass?
I was looking through it in front of me, but presumably Eliza had gone through the doorway, but the door's still open while I'm following.
Yeah. So, so if you're looking through it, you can still see her, and you can see the steps down, and you, if you step forward as well through the doorway, basically once Eliza is through, Eliza can see all around her the room that she is in, so doesn't need to look through the glass anymore. Okay,
cool. So Albert will look back, having stepped over the threshold, and see that as well, and just be like, I guess I'll say back to other... Wait, what are you two doing? Are you following us?
Well, what do we see? Because I was kind of behind...
Were you following?
If you weren't looking through, then you basically cannot pass through the wall.
And I just see...
So you would just see them disappear into the wall, basically, if you're not looking through the...
I think Samuel wasn't necessarily kind of, again, with the sanity loss, he wasn't kind of fully engaged with the effort in terms of following what everyone else is doing, so he's maybe just seen them disappear.
Miss Smith? Mr. Moore? What?
Can we hear them?
Can we see and hear them through the doorway?
Yeah.
Bang on the wall.
Is Willie still standing there?
Oh,
well?
Willie is still standing there as well, yeah.
Okay. So I will just turn to Eliza and say, I think the door, they must see the wall again. The door must have disappeared for them. How panicked are they looking?
Quite
and before replying, can we see anything else in the room?
So you've got stairs down, basically.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I think if they look panicked, I will endeavor to turn around and just like put my hand through to kind of help them through. But I don't know how that would work because I'm not holding the magnifying glass.
Okay. Edmund and Samuel see an arm appear from out of the wall. I think that's another sanity roll, probably.
I'd say so.
I also feel bad for Willie.
Oh, yeah, that's got me. 96.
It's another one if you've failed that.
Sorry, guys. I think Albert, seeing that you're all looking very terrified at the arm, will kind of probably withdraw it, feeling like rather guilty, and then instead put his head through and kind of lean half out from the wall, and be like, "I'll just say to you all, it's okay. It's just a.
It's not okay. It's not okay.
The door's open. You can come through.
It's a wall. What the hell is going on?
Wait, does it look like it did for you now? The wall.
I'm presuming from my position, I just see a wall. You're putting parts of yourself through a wall. This is the best illusion of ever, or Christ, I don't know.
Can I reach out and just try and take someone's hand if Willie is there, or one of you two?
Samuel has stepped like 3 or 4 steps back, is kind of on the staircase at this point.
Willie is incredibly wide-eyed. If you are reaching out and grabbing his hand, he will take it.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, when you get back to the wall or the doorway, as you see it, it's
Albert
almost like
with being halfway within, so he doesn't reach for anyone. Then, if you see what I mean, he kind of has leant out and then decided to proceed.
Yeah, what I mean is when your two hands get back to the threshold, it's almost like there's an invisible barrier from as far as you're concerned. Whereas obviously what Willie is seeing is his hand basically getting to the wall and stopping.
Albert will look back and say to Eliza, "Look, fascinating." He's kind of morbidly very interested in this.
Will you come through with us? Should we come back and re-enter?
I think they need the magnifying glass as well. Perhaps hand it through, and I'll lower my other hand to you, I suppose.
Perhaps we should all follow rather than handing it back. What if we can't get out without the glass?
Can we hear them?
Yeah, but it's muffled.
Right.
Perhaps you're right. Yes, we should all go. If you,
I'll head back. Yeah. Let's return and head back. I'll again try and lead with the magnifying glass and sort of make sure we're both looking at it.
we shouldn't split up now. Wherever we're going, I know it's madness, but everything we've seen here is madness. What difference does this make?
Assuming we come back through, I'll kind of explain to the others. There's a staircase below. It just as I thought there was from the sound of it.
Samuel still is sat on the lower stair, just silent, kind of staring ahead of him.
We have to see what's down there. We must.
Has Willie said anything?
He's just kind of looking wide-eyed. He took your hand, he kind of pulled it, it got to the wall. His facial expression didn't really change throughout it all. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you've been telling him that strange things have been happening, and while he wouldn't ever disbelieve you don't think, he's been relatively concerned about your mental state throughout it. Quite understandably so, I think.
Yeah.
And now this is the first thing that he's witnessed himself. And it's quite a biggie out of out of the things that you've witnessed. So he's sort of a little, temporarily almost catatonic.
I think Albert would normally feel bad, but is very distracted by feeling like he can now go and maybe kill something that is causing this evil.
I was going to say, I think Samuel is feeling pretty nauseous and is actually going to head out the front door and sit on the front step outside for a second.
Matt, just quickly, a question about Samuel. Do you think that this is making him reconsider other things that he had previously written off that had been reported to him? Or do you not think or do you not think he can even think that far at the moment? Is the other side of this?
I think this is obviously the first thing that he's seen that is similar to Willie. Like, he's seen the Hare, he's seen the strangeness with the ringmaster kind of getting off his coach and things. But this is the first really just there's no. We're all seeing it. It's happening to everybody. There's kind of no answer to this. There's no solution to it. And yeah, like you say, he's been very staunch about the fact that this sort of thing was not possible. And yeah, it's opening his mind to the idea that this is something that can happen and may have happened. In other cases, is dismissed. So yeah, he just feels nauseous. He feels sick. He's going out for some air.
I think another point of sanity loss, just for because Samuel has been so exposed to a lot of this stuff but written it off. I think that sudden flood of there is so much of this that could have been real, I think is probably even more overwhelming than, or as overwhelming as what is happening right in front of him. Okay, so Samuel's going to sit outside for a moment. What are you three doing?
I think Albert just kind of sighs impatiently at Samuel leaving and we might not have time for this. They might come back. Whatever's down there might. I don't know.
Do you think it's better to come back this evening or tomorrow?
No, we might not have another chance. We're here right now.
I think you're right.
I'll look at Willie. Perhaps we should. Do you fancy another drink? And that was directed to Willie, and I'll try and maybe escort him to the.
Yes, I think that might be a good idea.
I think Albert's anger kind of fades away, and he just kind of lowers his head.
So I'll take Willie back to the drawing room.
Yeah.
Try and find a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
Pour him a glass.
You don't have much of an issue finding a whiskey in Sir John's home.
So I'll pour him a glass, and then I'll go back to the wall and say, "So, what do we do?" I'm just stood in a corridor talking to a wall.
We ought to get Mr. Thomas.
I think he has, well, I think he has a lot on his mind.
Well, then we ought to at least tell him that we're going without him.
Okay.
He wants to stay. I'd be happy if someone stayed with my man.
I can ask him to watch over Willie, I guess, once he's gathered his thoughts. Or I can look after Willie, and you can do what you need to do.
If we see anything with those stars again, I really rather like you there.
Liza's right. Again, we could do with you, Edmund. I don't want to order you to come with us, though.
Mr. Thomas has seen or heard of strange things like this before as well. Let's at least ask him if he'll come. I'll start heading off towards where we saw Samuel go outside.
Okay, so you've come out of the wall again.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
yeah,
we were
we're
at the
already out the wall.
conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We came out barely.
And you find, if assuming we can get to Samuel without any interruption, Samuel, we're going back in. Do you want to come?
Do you need? Sorry, where are you going? Through the door, I guess.
Yes.
Is there maybe it's better if someone stays here.
There's always Willie here. I think if you've come across things like this before.
Yeah, someone has probably told me about something like this before, and I've written them off as hysterical. So yeah, I don't know how much help I'm going to be. Is Albert coming?
Yes, the rest of us are. I just really much prefer if we were all together, and it might help you put some of that to bed. If you've dismissed things in the past, it might help you understand it now.
Do you have your gun?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Albert, I think, was actually going to the other room to have a quick chat with Willie at the same time.
Someone's going to kind of look up at the sky before he heads inside.
Jonny's going all
hello,
weird.
sir.
Sorry. I suppose that was probably a bit much, wasn't it?
Yes, I'm afraid it might have been, sir.
We've been seeing a lot of strange things. We're going down there. Everything points towards wherever all this madness is coming from is down there. Don't think we have much choice of it now.
Do you think you might need one of these, sir? He says and holds a gun up.
I will take the gun and nod.
It's loaded, ready for you, sir.
Thank you. I don't... You can stay here, but keep an eye out for whatever's going on. Stay safe. Hopefully see you soon.
Yes, sir. He says and picks his glass up.
I think Albert just turns around and walks out then. And presumably, are you guys like basically moving through to the door at that point as well? Door.
Yeah, the hallway.
I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we all
Everybody working their way through the door in a conga line of sorts.
Yep.
Eldritch conga line.
As we
Yeah.
pass through, I'll say, look back, you see. From here, it looks perfectly normal. I didn't know what was happening.
I'm not
Yes,
gonna look
Edmund
back.
and Samuel for the first time. If you do turn back, Samuel
Oh,
isn't.
I'll be turning back.
Yeah, you see that it looks like this is just a doorway out to that hallway with nothing strange from this side.
I didn't realize until I saw your shocked faces.
This is... Anyway, at least we know that glass probably belongs to Sir John.
I suppose I'm glad I didn't smash it now.
Do we think there's another, or have we prevented him from getting down here?
That's a good question.
I certainly hope nobody follows us.
Either way, remember, it was very fortuitous if it had been dropped accidentally and happened to be found so perfectly by us.
True.
Indeed.
And remember that there seems to be something down here, or someone that he's been speaking with.
Do we hear anything, Johnny?
Not apart from sort of pipes and like the you see at the bottom of the stairs is the sort of vent wheel thing that you presume is what he turned last night. And then the corridor spins round to the left, and you can see some light coming from in that direction.
So this is the wheel to turn off the gas, was it?
That's what he said.
Why would this be hidden down here? Surely this would be a part of the house. Well, I suppose it is a part of the house, but why would it be hidden?
Eliza will stow the magnifying glass and pull out her gun and the torch, one in each hand. Assuming we don't still need the magnifying glass to see where we're going, it now just looks like a normal hallway, right?
Yeah, everything looks the same. If you do a test when you partway down the stairs, for example, everything looks the same through the magnifying glass as not through the magnifying glass.
Is it light down here? Are there lights?
Yes. So there was a light at the top of the stairs, and then it gets slightly darker as you're getting down the stairs, and then there's light coming from round the corner. So if you're heading around,
I think before heading around, Albert will rest his hand on the wheel and just feel it and see if it feels odd or looks odd in any way.
Nope, just a metal wheel that you know, sort of a valve that you would expect it to feel like.
In that case, I will look back to everyone else and go, turn it then?
No, we know this turns off the lights everywhere. We don't want to alert anyone that we're here. I think we just carry on forwards.
The only person who would know we were here is Sir John, surely. I don't think any of the other staff will have access to this place, will they?
Why do we don't need to turn this now.
You've heard what happened the other nights. Or that night and the other time we talked. The conversation followed the valve, didn't it? Remember?
Perhaps there's something here anyway, though.
Yes,
See anything?
But it is
The hallway kind of carries on ahead of you if you've turned left at the bottom of the stairs, and looks to open out into a sort of room.
I suppose we can come back, you're right.
slowly proceed towards the room.
Okay. You get to a doorway of sorts into this room, and it's mostly wide open space. Apart from a few steps in, there is a stand, almost like a sort of pulpit or lectern, with a book on it, which is open.
Okay.
Eliza would head towards that to see what it is.
Yeah, that sounds quite weird.
Okay. The book is open. It looks to be written in some ancient looking language. Edmund and Samuel as scientists. You think maybe it's some Latin offshoot, potentially. It's got sort of a worn leather cover.
Does it have a title?
Are you sort of flicking it to have a look?
Yeah, I'll note where the page is. I'll
Yeah.
kind of keep my, yes, open it, flip it, close, and then open again. Yeah.
No title or author.
I don't suppose anybody else can read this.
Putting the gun back and pulling back out the magnifying glass.
Oh.
You know, when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Seeing if that looks like anything on the cover through the magnifying glass.
On the cover?
Well, cover first and then pages if there's nothing on the cover.
There is nothing on the cover at all. Are you working your way through the pages?
I think if Edmund had his finger in the place where it was, maybe just flip back to that page again and just look there. Eliza's not methodical.
As you look at it through the magnifying glass, the ink on the page seems to rearrange itself. And can Eliza make me a sanity roll, please?
This has got to be more than 5 today by now.
90.
Okay, two sanity loss, please. And you realize that what is written on this page is most likely, as far as you can figure out, a spell to summon some kind of extraterrestrial being. And I think we'll leave it there.
Before Eliza's inevitable mental breakdown. Because what's that, like 8 sanity or something today for you?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Still not a 5th, I don't think. She's safe for the 5th, I think.
Well, it's 5 or a 5th in a day, isn't it,
It's
John?
5. It's 5 in one go.
Oh, in one go.
Or a 5th in a day.
Was it 4 or 5 that I got?
You got 4 previously. Yeah.
So that's the total for today then. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. So if you have any questions or comments, then pop them in the chat. John can put them up on screen for us. Oh, it's a 5th of total, I believe. A fifth of your like limit.
That's not
max. Yeah.
Yeah, your max. Yeah. So the number remains the same no matter what your current sanity is. So if you started with 45, then you would need to lose 9 in a day, even if you've already lost 10 the day before. Yeah. So questions or comments, John will put them on screen. There are links to our Twitch, YouTube, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon below the video. Promo stuff, Blades in the Dark tomorrow night, Coriolis on Wednesday night, Saturday the 3rd of July, I am going to be running Honey Heist, which is like Bears doing Ocean's 11. It's going to be really fun. And obviously very similar to Call of Cthulhu. And every 2 weeks, Matt runs Simba Room on the Free League Twitch. And the next one is the 4th of July. That's mostly it. Yeah, that was fun for me. For me.
Yeah.
Holy crap! It's a Legend of Zelda: Lens of Truth. I mean, I've played a lot of Zelda. I'm not. Ideas just go in sometimes, don't they? And you don't know where they've come from. That's obviously where that one's come from.
I think, John had another interesting comment regarding does Sir John wear glasses?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He doesn't.
Ah.
What's a good question, John?
Mm.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
There was a fun moment with Albert just going like, "Hey, what you guys doing?" and everyone else just be like, "Ah!" at the other side. Although I lost some sanity this session, I think that was actually almost a calmer session in feel than the last one was. Although the last one was a madhouse. So.
Yeah, I think when you introduce a circus at the beginning, it's gonna feel a little, a little wild.
It feels like stuff's chilled out. Yeah.
Well, like I guess last time, lots of bizarre things were happening at us that we didn't like. We were like, okay, cool, right? We're listening out for something. Oh wait, there's a lion. Oh wait, there's a circus. What is all of this? Whereas at least this time, like it's all creepy and weird, but it's like, okay, let's lift this rock. What's under here?
Yeah. Let's look through the Eldritch lens. Let's see what happens.
Eliza, every chance. I'm just going to whip out the Eldritch lens.
I want answers, damn it.
Oh no, it's just a bad idea.
Also, like Eliza's not like the scientist. Like, there's none of this concept of like, bizarre things or abstract, unknowable things that we have yet to discover. Like everything Eliza's uncovered previously in her life has been very human stuff. Like you go and you find it. Like and this is very weird. Like all this. I mean, even the idea of like, oh yeah, you figure out there's a spell. I'm not even sure if Eliza would really have any concept of what a spell is. Like other than like stories. Like it's still.
Well, is it that the lens is kind of somehow imparting this knowledge directly? Is that the sort of?
Who knows? I don't think any of us know how it works.
No.
It's what we see, isn't it? What we experience. I feel like Albert's a lot like Eliza too, so it's very much a.
That's some shades of throw from someone who spent like 3 episodes reading a Magic Tome last series.
Oh god. I think it's funny because Albert's exactly the same as just like he's a very human experience sort of person, so that's why he just keeps trying to shoot everything and is a little overwhelmed. It doesn't seem to be working, but it's gonna persist anyway.
I have to say I'm glad you shot the rabbit rather than the horse.
Everyone else was chilled as Samuel's whole world has turned upside down.
Yeah, I know.
I was so worried with the hair because obviously after last time when I shot at something, it turned out to be a person, and then you described it as like, oh, was it Willie was like tying his shoelaces, and I was like, oh god, it's not Willie, is it?
Oh, no.
Shot Willie.
Oh my god, that'd be awful.
Oh no, I think Albert that would be the end of Albert if he'd done that.
Yeah.
Especially like knowing the pass that Jonny does between Albert and Willie. Oh. That was fun.
Good. Right, cool. Thanks everybody. Hopefully catch you next week, or at Blades in the Dark on Tuesday, or at Coriolis on Wednesday, or at Honey Heist on Saturday the 3rd, or at Simba Room on the Free League Twitch on Sunday the 4th. Some of those things. Bye everybody.
Bye.